YouTube, what's going on YouTube? What is going on? What is happening, man? Of course, it's your guy one more time, DEDRICKHICKSJR, and I'm back with another fragrance video. Smell good, family. Hopefully everyone is doing well, doing great, doing fantastic. It's positive energy, it's positive vibes. Y'all know how we get down here in this channel, man. Positive vibes only. Truly, man, hope everybody's doing well. You know, just a lot of things go on in our lives and our families and things like that. So definitely sending big time love and positive energy to everybody out there, especially if you're taking the time to watch me talk about fragrances. I definitely appreciate that for sure. All right, so today's video is something where, you know, I'm showing you that I practice what I preach. And I don't practice what I preach all the time because I don't recommend blind buying, even though I just did it a couple weeks ago. But I highly recommend sampling over blind buying. And in this video, these 7 fragrances are going to show me reaping the benefits of sampling. All right, so today we have 7 fragrances that I sampled and then turned around into full bottles into my collection. All right, so again, yeah, look, I get it, you know, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do whatsoever, but let's go positive and negatives. All right, so the positives is if you blind buy something and you hit it at the park, yes sir, like you feel good about it. Well, I got to a point where I just didn't want to feel good about it. I wanted to, you know, love the fragrance. You know, was it truly something that I wanted to add to my collection? I'm really over the redundancy phase in my collection. I have been for quite some time. So sampling fragrances is really, I want to say 75% of what I do personally in my collection. And then of course you have that other 25% where I'm just like, look, man, I know what I like. I know I'm gonna love this, you know? So I've had some good opportunities and I've had some bad opportunities all created by me. But let's get into it. These 7 fragrances I did purchase with my own money. I purchased these fragrances with my own money after sampling these fragrances. All right, so let's go ahead and tap in. Up first, this is truly a masculine masterpiece. There is not too many fragrances I will put over this, just pound for pound in my collection. From the House of Creed, we're talking Royal Oud. Royal Oud from the House of Creed. I've talked about this a lot over the past year. Sampling this at my local Dillard's. Miss Heather blessed me with a sample. I actually re-engaged with it on a live stream with Miss Heather while we were talking Creed. And just where I am with my collection, this is a Mount Rushmore piece to like where I am in my collection. Why is that? The heavy woods, the spices, the masculine nature. This smells like big money. This smells like achievements. This smells like confidence. This smells like leadership. This smells like a lot of things that I believe in, that I strive to be every single day in my life. So sampling this and just really having an immediate attraction to the profile. And you know, this is a very pricey fragrance, but I got mine on discounts for a really, really good price. And sampling this fragrance and getting familiar, I went through 2 decants of this fragrance, two 5 ml decants of this before I purchased my full bottle. So I was unwilling to blind buy this. Because of the price, just being real. But obviously getting my nose on it after that, it was a done deal. So from the House of Creed, a masculine masterpiece for sure. We're talking Royal Oud. There is no oud in here. Those who are afraid of oud, there is no oud in here. Just a very heavy, woodsy, beautiful fragrance, all right? Up next, this is one of the fragrances that I smelled after probably my favorite fragrance from the house. I smelled this soon after that, but you know, I wanted to use the whole sample just to really see where I stood. And then just over time, I just truly fell in love with it and had to have a full bottle. And what am I talking about? From the House of Argos, we're talking Danae, however we're going with that. That's where we are. So what was the why was I so hesitant on purchasing this? 1 second. It's fantastic. Well, at the time when I was experiencing Argos, I hadn't hadn't had an Argos yet. Triumph of Bacchus was just totally blew my mind. That's my favorite from the house. But after that, I started sampling others, and this was the very next one that kind of captivated me. But it turned out that I was just kind of, man, like, you know, do I need this? Like, do I have something that's resembling this? Like, it didn't remind me of some things, but like the profile, it's very woodsy, that cashmere wood, very woodsy, very easy to wear, but the plus was the quality with this fragrance. So long story short, I wore out my Cardiff sample. I wore out the other Cardiff sample, and I went out and for a night out, and I was just in love with being out in the open air with this, inside of the restaurant, you know, of course, the compliments. Like, this was something that was getting a lot of attention when I wore this fragrance, and I went ahead and pulled the trigger because of sitting with it. I really sat with the Cardiff samples for about a year. Before I added this to my collection. So this is a great one, great everyday wear. Like I said, I get woods, I get the cashmere feel to this as well. There's some fruity nature to this fragrance. Like I said, I think it's one of the easier fragrances to wear from Argos, and that's saying something because Argos has some beautiful special occasion blends. But this is one of the ones that I wear to the office. I wear for a night out, just chilling. It's a very high quality fragrance, but it definitely has that simplistic vibe that I'm looking for. Meaning it's versatile and I can wear wherever and be the best smelling in the room. That's another plus. But turn 2 Cardiff samples into this bottle from the House of Argos. We're talking Danae or Danae. The butcher is always here. Up next on the live stream, I deemed this as top 2 greatest summer fragrances that I've ever smelled in my life. You can debate me. I will not debate you back. This is just how I feel. I put this up against any of the greats of the summer because this is killer. It is great. From the house of Lorenzo Pagliazza, we have Summer Hammer. Summer Hammer was blessed with a sample of Summer Hammer from one of the Smell Good family members. Got it in, smelled it on the live stream, and I was blown away. Very tropical, fruity fragrance here. Silky, smooth, creamy coconut. Almost a slight kind of boozy, not almost, it is like a boozy feel to this fragrance as well. It comes off like a very expensive, you know, tropical daiquiri with like some coconut garnish, and you're talking passion fruit and strawberries and, you know, different, you know, dark, I ain't gonna say different, fun tropical vacation type fragrances. That's what you get here. Hell of a performer, beast of a performer. I tested this for the very first time. My baby boy was turning 1 year old. We had a party during the summer, sprayed a couple sprays on, and I ain't gonna say everybody, but there was a lot of conversation about what I was wearing. The wife was a huge fan. She let me know throughout the entire day. Of course, being out in the heat, this thing was just like a glow around me. Sisters, like had a lot of conversation about Summer Hammer. A lot. And it's just one of those ones, when I smelled the sample for the first time on the live stream, I was taken aback. I resonated with this. I connected with this very, very easy. This is something like of my vibe. When we're talking summer, like, I am a fan of coconut, but I like a more natural coconut. I can't do the artificial sunscreeny stuff. This ain't that. This ain't that. This stuff is fire. And I didn't want to blind buy this because I didn't want to be in a position where I'm blind buying something at the price that I got it for. And, you know, I wasn't going to be in love with it, especially for summer. And thankfully, I got a sample, and the rest is history. I love this stuff. From the house of Lorenzo Pagliazza, we're talking Summer Hammer. Summer Hammer for sure. All right. Up next, man, 10 out of 10 fragrance. I hold this in the same vein as Royal Oud. This one is a bit more versatile. This is an absolute classic masterpiece, masculine speciality from the house of Roja. We're talking Burlington 1819. My Lord. My Lord. I was blessed with a sample of this from one of the Smell Good family members as well. Smelled it on the live stream and was blown away. The citruses in here. There's tons of notes and roses. We know that, right? But I love the citruses, the woods, the musky nature to this fragrance. There's this rum in here that really stands out as the fragrance continues to progress. This is a stunt on you fragrance. This is a stunt on you fragrance. This is a 10 out of a 10. This sits on the Mount Rushmore as well in my fragrance collection, one of my top 10. I can go on and on and on and on. A lot of people view this in a high light, and I understand why. And getting that sample really changed my perspective on really truly finding my lane for my taste. And I wasn't, I realized in that moment that, I really have a lot more discovery to do. A lot more discovery to do to really find out exactly where I can get cozy at, where I can get cozy at. And this is one of the fragrances that really helped me get there. I love wearing this to the office. This is where I mainly wear this to the office, honestly. I haven't worn this anywhere else. I will. I will. And for those who've been following me or subscribe to this channel for a while or watching my content, my day-to-day life, I'm wearing a button up, I'm wearing slacks, I'm wearing hard bottoms going to the office, and fragrances like this really come into play. Of course, if I'm stepping out and I got to get suited and booted, we're talking about a suit, maybe a tie, we're talking black tie, tuxedo, we're talking something of that nature, wedding, like this is a fragrance to consider as well. It's just special. And thank God for that Decant, because this was something that I was truly not prepared to blind buy, and the price had a lot to do with that. This stuff is spectacular, and the sample really helped motivate me to get a bottle one day from the house of Roja Dove. We're talking Burlington 1819. Big fan, love this stuff. It is unquestioned one of the great fragrances that I've ever experienced. All right, up next, let's go over to the house of Amouage, and boy, this was a stunner. A true stunner that I did not expect, and I bought the bottle the night of the live stream from the house of Amouage. We're talking Overture Woman. Overture Woman. I understand the Overture Man and Overture Woman play, but I really wish they just would have just not attached the label to this, because this right here, it's not a fragrance that was built just for the ladies. Fellas, I personally like this over Overture Man. There's this brandy, boozy, beautiful vibe to this fragrance. You get these the fruits, you get the florals, you get there's this sweet and spicy event. Yes, sweet and spicy event going on, but the apple brandy is really the star. It's like a quality, very sweet, very sweet and smooth glass of brandy. There's many forms of brandy, different qualities of brandy, and there are some brandies out there that have this fruity tinge to it, and that's what this reminds me of. This stuff is incredible. It is incredible, man. I've worn this, I want to say 2 times since I've gotten a full bottle, but the Decant was done. Me and my wife killed the Decant after the live stream. Like that next week, the Decant was gone. The Decant is gone. This is one truly, fellas, don't get wrapped up in the Overture Woman. Don't. This is one to truly tap into, truly see for yourself, and this is one of the best fragrances from Amouage. One of the best. And thank God for the Bishop Jared Miller. Shout out to him if he's watching. This turned into a full bottle, and maybe the next one too turned into a full bottle because of him. So love this stuff. Great for the cooler months, great for date night, even great for a fun night out. You can do a lot with this fragrance if it's about going out and creating a vibe or going to a vibe. This stuff is fire. From the house of Amouage, we're talking Overture Woman. I'm telling you, man, that apple brandy in here is elite. All right. Up next, man. Probably the best pound for pound plum fragrance, plum fragrance in my collection. From the house of Cedar Woods, we have plum and cognac. Plum and cognac. My bottle is ivory and gold because at the time the all black options were sold out. Dark, heavy, rich plum, booze, vanilla. There's cinnamon in here. Just beautiful. This stuff is amazing. Amazing. I love plum. And being introduced to this was truly a treat. Truly. And I sat with my decant. I had a 5 ml decant, then I was blessed with a 10 ml decant. And I ran through those decants, I think it was about a year, about a full year. And then I got lucky too, because this got in stock, made my purchase over at Center Woods. But for the cooler months, I can't stress enough, this is probably one of the perfect fragrances for when it's cold out on a fall night or a winter's night and you're stepping out. If you're going to a nice restaurant, you're going with your significant other or somebody who you're interested in, you're trying to set an impression, you're trying to create a vibe. This is a very sexy, has a bit of mysterious vibe to it. It could be a low-key fragrance because it doesn't like roar off of me. This is something that kind of sits right in front of me, creates a nice bubble, creates a nice sillage, but the quality in here is amazing. Don't get me wrong, when I say it's not beast mode, I'm not saying it doesn't perform well, because it absolutely does. It absolutely does. And I've been told, as long as you, like most fragrances, the longer you have your bottle, the better this stuff gets. And I honestly will say, smelling Atomizer right now, it seems like I don't remember it being as dense as what I just smelled off the Atomizer. I'm not sure, I didn't spray it, but as soon as I smelled it as I was talking, I was like, yo, this is a little bit more denser than I remember. Great stuff, sampled. Shout out to the Bishop Jared Miller, full bottle for sure. From the House of Center Woods, we're talking plum and cognac. Plum and cognac, we're gonna get that in focus, there we go. All right, and last but not least, I sat with this decant that I had for this for 2 years. 2 years, and I got this fragrance for $100. I couldn't believe that I got this for $100. I couldn't believe I got this for $100, and it is awesome. You love leather? And yes, sir. But now, apart from tomorrow, we have the gaudy Godolphin. Godolphin, that all gold out, tricked out bottle, man, but a beautiful raspberry leather. Beautiful. The leather sits on top of the raspberry. This isn't like super raspberry forward where it takes over the leather. It's not, and that's how I like it. That's how I like it. I actually prefer this over Tuscan leather. And Tuscan leather is fantastic from Tom Ford, fantastic. But I like what this does. I like the balance of it. I like how the leather sits on top of the raspberry. The leather here, it's a soft leather. It's a complementary leather to the raspberry. And then of course the other spices and the nuance of this fragrance, it just really works well. If you're going to a cigar lounge, this is the type of fragrance you can put a couple sprays on and go to a cigar lounge in the wintertime, wearing darker colors. You're dressed, I ain't gonna say you're dressed up, but you're dressed, you're grown, you're moving like an adult, sitting inside, maybe having a nice, bourbon, cigar, you might be chilling with your lady, you might be chilling with the homies, just a vibe. This is kind of something that kind of really is good for that, especially in the cooler months. So that sample, I wore it for, it took me 2 years to empty it. It was a 5 ml sample, 5 ml. I live in Florida, so it's not cold like that all the time, but I definitely emptied it out and was looking for a full bottle, and I got lucky during Black Friday and got this for $100. $100, and I don't regret it. Glad to have it. It's not redundant to the other leather fragrances that I love, and that's what I'm going for. From the house of Parfums de Marly, we're talking Godolphin. Godolphin from Parfums de Marly. All right, so there you have it. Those are the 7 fragrances were samples turned into full bottles and were added to my collection, and I could not be more happy about that. All right, so sample, especially if you're not sure. If you're taking a chance on blind buying something, that means, you probably see what you see, and it's something that you probably are most likely going to get right, but you just never know. That's why it's always safe to sample. And with these 7 samples, really, really helped out, and I'm ecstatic about that. All right, so let me know down below in the comments, what were some of your fragrances that you sampled and you hit on or you didn't hit on? All right, let me know. Very interested to see what your guys' experiences are. Smell Good family, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the love and support as always. Sending all my positive energy and positive vibes to each and every last one of you. Hopefully everyone is truly doing well. All right, so we'll see you on the next one. Peace, y'all. Of course, it's splacker up, splacker down, splacker that thing all around. And remember, what you put out to this world is exactly what you are going to get back. All right, peace, man. We'll see you on the next one. Splacker.